Don't Starve is a challenging indie title where your whole goal is to manage your resources as well as you can so that way you can survive as long as you can in a world that is very unforgiving. So it's only right that the game skyrockets 10,000% when you add multiplayer to it and you get your goofy friends in to play with you. Starting up a new world, you and your friends are going to pick from a pretty decently sized roster of characters that all have their own each individual quirks and perks that really guide your gameplay and can hinder you in some cases. Like some of the characters are unable to eat meat and they have to eat carrots and stuff like that, and then others they lose their sanity faster or gain sanity faster, or just small stuff like that that really impacts your gameplay and makes it a little bit more of a challenge or more fun, or just makes it to where you can synergize with your team of players who pick different characters and kind of work together to survive this harsh hellscape of a fucking game. Now, as the title of the game would state, I think your main goal in the game obviously is to not starve to death. Obviously, there's a lot of other threats in the game that can hurt you and kill you, but ultimately the big thing that you're going to try to focus on throughout most of the game is to, farm up food or forage for carrots and berries and stuff like that, and ultimately build up a small little base where you can cook different kinds of food and make sure that you don't, starve. The other big mechanic besides your hunger, obviously, is going to be your sanity in this game. Back originally when I first bought this game, before it had multiplayer, there wasn't a sanity meter or anything like that, but once they added it, it really brought a whole new level of depth to this game. And once your sanity drops down low enough, you start to see all these shadowy creatures and stuff like that kind of roaming around. And if it gets absolutely towards the bottom of the gauge, you'll actually start getting attacked by these creatures, and you'll start seeing all kinds of eyes and stuff in the dark, and there'll be little shadowy hands that'll try to steal the fire from your campfire to kind of try to kill you, because if you stay out in the dark too long, you get attacked by an invisible creature that'll kill you in 2 hits. So the game is not very forgiving. You really got to stay on top of all of these different resources and stuff like that to make sure that you're not, getting yourself killed in the end. Although this game is really hard, it's not to say that if you don't spend the time and stuff like that to actually build up your resources and really build up a nice little base and stuff like that, it does go by a little bit easier. Making the farms is a really great way to start collecting a lot of food, and the icebox will make sure that the food doesn't expire as quickly and spoil. The crock pot helps you, make different sorts of recipes that'll end up, filling your hunger gauge more than other things would. There's just all kinds of cool little machines and contraptions and stuff like that that you get to build throughout the game that kind of ease the experience for you a little bit and make it a little bit more fun, and it just doesn't seem completely unbearable. One thing that you obviously have to look out for in the game is most of the creatures are going to try to kill you at some point, whether it be the nice little beefalo or, crazy monsters like big, huge, tall birds and all kinds of crazy enemies that you're going to meet. The big thing about dying, though, in the Together version of the game is that when you die and you become a ghost, it brings down the sanity of the people that you play with in a normal kind of game. I think when we were playing, we were doing more of a casual playthrough, so you can make the settings to where it doesn't drain your sanity, and you can always resurrect at the little post where you come into the game at. But in a normal game, when you die, it's a big deal because if you don't resurrect yourself fast enough, it's going to bring down the sanity of all the players that you're with, which ultimately makes it way harder for them to survive. So everything has consequences in this game, and it's really, really tough. Some of the best parts in this game, in my opinion, have to be the different biomes that you come across as you play, which obviously have new threats and different resources that you can, try to utilize to help you survive, but also there's a dynamic sort of weather system that happens, and it'll rain every so often, or after you've survived for so many days, the seasons will change. That was a huge update back in the day when I played the original game, was every 20 or so days, the season will change to the next one. Winter obviously being one of the roughest ones to get through because you have to stay warm as much as possible, and you can't farm as much because the crops don't grow very good during the winter. So this is like a super crucial time where you start in the fall and you have to try to build up as much as you can, because once it gets to the winter, you're not going to have a lot of food to survive. Now, obviously, if you haven't gotten the message across that I'm trying to get here, is that the game is tough, but it's also very rewarding. Like, the game has a day counter up in the top right, and honestly, like, every day that you survive feels like a success, because the game throws so much at you. There's even hounds that come every so many days that try to like just attack you wherever you are, and I mean, like, the game really does send everything it has at you to try to kill you. And there's even like these gigantic bosses that show up every so often during different seasons and everything like that, and they are really tough bosses, let me tell you. Even though it's a real bummer to die, and I mean, there's a lot of mechanics to the game that I think are a little over dramatic, or maybe just like do like too much to like hinder you from success. The game is really fun, and especially really fun with a lot of friends to play with. So I mean, just look at this clip right here of me and Mackenzie and Weldon running around from bees.
Oh, that's a lot of angry.
Holy ass! Look at! Oh my God! You literally! Oh my fucking God! What is happening?
Holy shit!
Bam 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 bam. Honestly, if you and your friends are looking for some sort of game to play that's actually got a challenge to it, and it's not going to be a super big like walk in the park to learn the mechanics and learn how to actually survive in this new world, I would pick this game up. I think it's only like $15 by like standard pricing. I'm sure you can find it on sale because it's not like it's a super new game or anything like that. So I mean, honestly, this game is super cool. I would give it like a 4 out of 5. I feel like that's pretty fair. I honestly hate dying in this game so much that it kind of puts me off to playing it sometimes, but it is really fun, and it's more unique than a lot of the other games out there that you're going to play. So, I mean, 4 out of 5 seems pretty good in my opinion. But, on the other hand, that's all I've got for this review. So, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to click on some of these links on the screen, watch another video, or give me a thumbs up or subscribe, or do whatever you want to do. So yeah, see ya.